What's happening? You probably already noticed that I changed my intro a little bit. I was messing around with it a lot this week and decided to make a few changes to it. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Bandit Squarebill crankbait sitting in front of us. We've got a review that we're going to do on this. Great little crankbait, very affordable. Let's check out what this bait's all about. All right, guys. Bandit Squarebill crankbait. One size. Tackle Warehouse says that it's a 2.5 inch, 5/8 of an ounce bait that runs about 4 to 6 feet. But if you go to Bandit Lures, they say that the length is 2 3/4 of an inch and in the same weight, 5/8 of an ounce. So I don't know who's right. Let's go ahead and take a look at our measurement here. Our measurement says from the front, just the body without the ring at all is 2 5/8, and then with the ring it's 2 3/4. And then if you count the bill and the last ring, it's 3 1/4 inches. This is a very large crankbait. It's not the best casting crankbait that I've ever used. I think that just has to do with how big it is. I don't really know of a lot of squarebill crankbaits that are just great to cast unless they're that smaller size like this. Even the KVD here in the 3/8 ounce isn't a great casting lure, but the heavier ones like the Excalibur that are in that same size are good casting because this is a 1/2 ounce and this is 3/8 of an ounce, so it's got more weight to cast it. And when that weight is concentrated down into a small area or a smaller area, it seems to cast a little bit better. So I don't want to get stuck on this too far, but it does helicopter a little bit when you cast. But I mean, you're really not casting for distance when you're casting a squarebill crankbait. In my opinion, you're casting for accuracy and you're casting to a specific part of cover that you want to hit, or a specific part of vegetation that you want to run over and rip it out. So not the best casting lure I've ever casted, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know of too many that are very good casting lures. One thing I want to bring up, let's talk about the features, and then I'll turn this bait around. You can see that this bait is, for the most part, it's fairly smooth. There's not a lot of features on it. It's got this little, it's kind of embossed into the plastic. I don't know what this would be, kind of like a fin maybe, but it's probably there just to displace a little bit more water. You got the shad dot on here, and then you've got this, it's kind of a 3-dimensional eye, but it looks like it's just painted 2 different colors. Now let me turn this around for you and show you what happened when I was fishing it. You can see that the black part of the eye fell out. So, and it's like a round disc, like a piece of plastic that's in there. So normally I would think that it's just painted over, and then this is just a molded part of the eye that's on there. You can see that it's raised up out of the body there, but I really can't tell if that's just a piece of plastic that's glued on there. But I know that the black part was a piece of plastic that was in there, and I waited to try this because I only fished with this bait for one day before I decided to review it for you guys. You know, I've got so many baits to review, so I waited to see if I can get this Sharpie to make this black come back. Needs more. Anyway, I'm just trying to show you guys that it's not a huge deal. Durability might be a little bit of an issue with the eye part of it, but everything else on it is built very, very well. Yeah, that looks pretty bad, but that's just operator error. I'm not very good at this. So it looks better than it did though. So but the crankbait itself, it's got these VMC hooks on it, black nickel plated, very strong. I won't be replacing these. The squarebill on it, it's kind of an interesting looking design because of the fact that it if you look at the leading edge on it, it's like knifed in right here. It's beveled. So I don't know why they do that. But the crankbait is a very durable crankbait, other than that eye issue. But I ran it into a lot of junk, and it's a very, very durable crankbait. Has a very wide wobble. One thing that you'll notice when you throw it out there is that it has just like a wandering action. You'll see your line in the water come back straight and then kind of veer off to one side and then kind of veer off to the other side. And that's this bait wobbling kind of all over the place. So, like the Strike King company likes to tell you with the KBD series, that's one thing that they really praise their lure about, is for having that wandering action, or that hunting action as they like to call it. Well, this bait has that same thing. And also, this is they have two baits. They have a rattling version and a non-rattling version. And this is the rattling version. It's kind of like a one knocker sound. You can hear it in there. It's just the chamber that's right in here kind of for the ballast. And it's probably just an open ballast chamber that ball just rocks from side to side. So it's not, to me, it's not a true rattle. And it really, I mean, that's pretty aggressive, because normally when you're rolling this thing through the water, it's not going to be that loud. But it's still, there's the rattle, and then they have the non-rattling version. So we have two different colors here. We have chartreuse shad and root beer. First color I'm going to show you is chartreuse shad. Chartreuse shad, excuse me, is just like any other sexy shad, chartreuse shad that you're going to find. It's got that scale pattern with the light blue on the back. And then it's kind of got a pearl pattern on the body, same as on the bottom. And then it's got the chartreuse line going across the middle of the body with the shad dots on both sides. So there's chartreuse shad. Next one I'm going to show you is root beer. Root beer is kind of a splatterback pattern. It's got, you can see, maybe you can't. It's got little, it's like a faint green, like an emerald green glitter in it. But it's got a brown splatterback, and then the primary color on it is like an olive green. And then fading onto the side, you can still see, if it's not showing up on the camera or on your picture that well, all this splatter down here is that emerald green glitter that's up here on the top of the bait as well. So it's covered on the entire bait, and then it's got this orange line going down the body. So this is root beer. So great little crankbait, had some very good luck with it. I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is just my 2 cents about it. I really wasn't that looking forward to fishing with this crankbait, because it's just so big, you know, and I don't really like fishing with the bigger squarebill crankbaits. I like the smaller ones because, number one, the helicopter action, just I don't really like that. I like to be able to cast my lures if there's a piece of cover that I want to hit, and I want to be able to hit it when without it helicoptering and splashing down on the water. But after I fished with this crankbait, I mean, I really liked it. I couldn't put it down at all. I mean, I fished with it, and I was catching fish after fish after fish, and I couldn't put it down. So it's a great little crankbait, you guys. And I was watching, if you go over and check out the Wired to Fish channel, they had an interview with Marty Stone a few weeks ago, and he was talking about this bait, and he was saying about how I think it's the Bandit 100 is like the little brother to this. Correct me if I'm wrong, write a comment, but I think it was the Bandit 100 is like the little brother to this bait. And I don't think that one's a squarebill, but it runs a little shallower and it's a little smaller. But he said that there's going to be a middle one that's going to be just smaller than this one, just bigger than the Bandit 100. And it's going to be a squarebill crankbait. And he said, look out for it. It's going to be coming out pretty soon. So that might have my name all over it for people like me that like to fish the 1.5 size, you know, because that 1.5 size, I mean, it's quite a bit smaller. So, I mean, I got a KVD right here. Here's a KVD 2.5. So, I mean, but it's quite a bit bigger. So I mean, if you like this 1.5 size like me, it's definitely not gonna fit that bill for that small profile that you might be looking for in a shallow running crankbait. But with that being said, for a person that loves that 1.5 size and that smaller profile, I really liked fishing with this crankbait, and it had everything going against it because of the fact that I have so many crankbaits, and I have so many crankbaits that I like that have a lot of features and stuff, and this crankbait I really couldn't put it down. I mean, it runs great out of the box. It's got great components. I wish this thing with the eye didn't happen, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is. Crankbaits do funky things sometimes, and you got to just deal with it. But at least it didn't crack. And they praise on their website that they use high quality plastics, which is a big deal for me with crankbaits, because if you're going to accidentally smash it up against a rock or throw it onto a piece of wood or something like that, you really don't want these bodies cracking and taking on water. You want them to be able to last. And a squarebill crankbait is kind of the epitome of a big, rough and tough bully crankbait, because they have to go into places where a lot of other crankbaits won't go. So check out the Bandit Squarebill. And those of you that have tried it before, leave a comment and let me know what you think about this. And as always, if you can like my video if you liked it, go ahead and press that like button down there. And I really appreciate you guys checking out my videos. I'm going to try to put out another one today as well. So if you're seeing this one up, stay tuned for another one, because I think I'm going to do the XPS by Bass Pro Shop next. Alright guys, thanks a lot.